We're tuning into our extraterrestrial connections right now. I want to just see what comes through. The Chancellor is telling me that he is present. He's kind of sensed several other beings around him. He is the leader of the Council of 12. Well, he doesn't like that word leader of. It's a collective. But essentially, yes, that's who he is.
Well, Shantara, my tall white, said that she would help guide me, but it's almost like she has more questions for the human race than what she wants to channel to them. So we'll do our best.
So I'm really curious, Jerry, what is one of those questions?
Excuse me, what?
What is one of those questions that she has for the human race?
Why do we believe that we are in a conscious mindset when we are so divided in our consciousness toward each other? See,
I'm hearing from the Chancellor that the collective consciousness is something that emerges as a society like humankind rises in awareness, and that it's a process. It doesn't just magically all manifest all at once.
well, she's confused about our concept of love. She says that as a race, we have great potential for love, but our understanding of how to love each other can vary from different cultures, which they do not have in their society. And so is that a determination of how we trust and love each other? Like our culture differences are, because on their planet, they look at each other as being one with each other. We claim this, she says, but we don't necessarily live it. Although we do great things for each other, like Doctors Without Borders, people helping complete strangers. And she can't understand why the unity of our kindness and love toward each other is not universal upon this planet as the way to truly embrace and love each other.
Does this have something to do with our reptilian roots? Didn't we all evolve out of amphibians emerging from the ocean and starting to crawl on land?
That's if you believe in Darwin, she said, and that's not the way it works.
Okay, Mr. Chancellor, we get a little bit of, he says that there's been a lot of different influences on the evolution of man. That is one of them, but it's not the only one.
We can go into, she was saying, on your track, okay, that our DNA has been altered by different races, including their own, okay? And as a species, human species, okay, it makes us very versatile for different races to be able to integrate into our DNA, and that's why we can create hybrids. Because actually gene slicing and all like that and putting a chicken with a monkey, not that easy. But when you have the same kind of genetic coding within different species, over time you can manipulate the genomes. So it does have a variance in what you're saying.
Okay, I have a question for her.
Okay.
Have they had influence on the genome of humans?
Yes.
Can they elaborate?
Let me ask her. scientists say that or people that study the genome, she was saying, say that at one time we had junk DNA, but it's actually DNA waiting to be activated as we are going through a time of evolutionary changes in our physical development of what we are in physical form to be able to go up into the higher frequencies of the fifth and sixth dimension. Because you can go in a spiritual aspect of thought, but the true aspect is being able to take a physical body of what we are in representation of 3D into different forms of energy into the higher planes of dimension. And this is where she was showing me that junk DNA is not junk DNA, it's actually time activated DNA.
Interesting. So it's kind of dormant until
it's needed, she was showing me. And so they have hidden markers in our genetic coding that is basically doing like a lot of races want us to do, bring out a more high vibration, not vibration, but more of an compassionate of truly caring for each other.
So
truly,
this is kind of waking up. We're waking up to this.
Yes.
It's part of our DNA that's been kind of sleeping.
Yeah, so basically,
wake up.
Yeah, but what she's trying to tell me is overcoming the blindness of our masters. And our masters are, in this world, they call them our politicians or our government officials, whether they be a dictator or a person that we give power onto by lowering our own sovereignty.
Right. What I'm getting is the Venusians are sending us I'm feeling waves. Like think of waves on an ocean. I'm feeling all these waves. They're sending us these waves that we are receiving and that are going to help us with this process of waking up and rising in vibration and frequency. And they keep sending it and they keep sending it. And the more receptive we are to it, the more we open up and activate a lot of the sleeping DNA and rise up to that higher vibration. But we have to open up to it and be good receivers.
I'm going to ask her a question.
Like I do Reiki healing, Reiki energy healing, and anybody can learn this. It started in Japan. You can research it, Reiki, and I'd recommend it. You can do Reiki on yourself, you can do it on other people. And sometimes when I talk to people about maybe having a Reiki session, I'm sensing to see how open-minded they are about it, or if they are familiar with it. And he's a healer as well. We like to work on people who are very receptive. The more open and receptive they are to it, the more results we're going to get in the process. If they're not so open to it and they're not quite so receptive, we can still help them, but the results might be a little less profound. And so it seems like with this high vibrational energy, like what's coming in from Venus, and I know it's coming in from other places, the more open and receptive we are to it, if we're really good receptors, then we can benefit more from it and rise our frequency and vibration quicker by welcoming it in, right?
Yeah, I asked Shantara a question. If she had anything to say to the human race, what would she say? And basically what she told me was, we need a path to clarity to truly understand our true existence within the universe. Most races have been through what the human race is going through now, that tilting point of, do we blow each other up? Do we continue war, which I don't believe is going to happen, as she was saying as well. But when do we find a unity within each other so we no longer fear each other? And I asked her a question then, which was, how will the human race know when they have evolved beyond their own reptilian survival? And my thought was, is it because we're overpopulating their world? She said no, because there are a lot of races have overpopulated their own planet and still survived. It's not about population.
But she's asking us humans that question, right?
Well, the first one was, I asked, now I'm asking her, how did she, and this was her answer back to me, okay, is how do we as human beings overcome our own extinction? How did they find their unity with each other without destroying their whole planet or each other, without going to a nuclear war syndrome? That's what I asked her, and she was telling me it wasn't through population, and she wasn't, and here's where I've been blinded by my own self. I thought once we left this planet and we had space travel and the frontier of space opened up to us like it has so many other extraterrestrial races, that we would find a new unity. But that's not it, she said, either. What it comes down to is simply honoring life. When we understand the value of every single living being and what they have to offer to each other, that is when we truly have gained a true insight of love, which we call unconditional love for each other. Because it's not a love of, oh, Mark, I love you.
I love you too, Jerry.
Yeah, I know. But it's not that type of love she was talking about. It was, I honor you in creation of what we have accomplished or can do for the betterment of this world. And that's what this whole program is basically about. The unification of truly making contact. And it begins with
appreciation
and compassion for each other. Because if we can't have compassion for each other, how can we have compassion and understanding for a completely different race that is truly alien to most of us on this world?
So I have, in closing, a little exercise for you guys, which you could try to flex those appreciation muscles. I know some of you already do things like this. Today or tomorrow, when you see sunlight, thank the sun for shining. Be grateful for this wonderful energy that helps the plants grow and powers all life. And then look around at what that light does. Look at the flowers and the plants that are growing as a result of it, and feel that life vibrating and doing its thing. And maybe the bees are buzzing or the birds are chirping, and like you say, just think about it. Wow, isn't that great?
Yeah. And so many people do for each other, like helping a homeless person or just giving money to a complete stranger that needs help. We are a great race. And this is why other races take an interest in what we are, because even with their influence of changing our genomes and everything else, we are still capable of expressing our own free will regardless of our genetic coding and what it might say. That is truly an empowerment to what we are as a species.
Excellent. Well said, Jared.
Thank you. Amen.